The original NES Mega Man games aren't often considered to be especially tonally complex. They have simplistic plots, cartoony aesthetics, and their characters are all two-dimensional. Literally. Despite this, they achieve surprisingly dark and potent affects in their endgame. This is due to a number of factors, not least of which is the music. I'm ProkoCat. Welcome to VGMazing, my series on video game music appreciation. Before diving into the endings, it's important to discuss the unique structure of Mega Man games. After pressing the start button, we're met with an array of robot masters to pursue, and it's our choice who to go after first. This offers us an exciting amount of agency, unlike the linear progression of games like Super Mario Bros. Because we can choose any stage to be our first, each is similarly accessible. And, while some are more difficult than others, they never require special items or weapons for completion. Similarly, the music is never overly serious or suspenseful, because the composers can't account for whether a stage might be our first or our last. When we've dispatched all robot masters, we move on to confront Dr. Wily, who's hiding in his massive fortress. Starting here, the developers and composers know exactly where we are in our journey, and exactly what weapons and items we have. They also know that we have many demanding stages behind us. Our metal's been tested. Here, the stage design and music take a turn. The tracks for these final stages are all much more dramatic, mysterious, and unsettling, communicating the progress we've made and just how much is at stake. Unlike later entries in the series, Mega Man 1's Robot Master stages include a fair bit of major key music. This makes the weirdness of the first Wily stage theme even more disconcerting. Wily Stage 1 has a long, descending melody that gives the music a bittersweet tone, and the moderate tempo tells us to slow down and progress cautiously. At the same time, the white noise percussion messes with our sense of pulse by playing a bit later than we expect at the end of each bar. Dr. Wily's fortress is well fortified with dangerous traps and lots of enemies. Mega Man is right to tread carefully. Wily Stage 2 is the musical opposite of the previous track. It's much faster, and whereas that music was defined by descending shapes, this piece ratchets upward chromatically. It's also quite short, looping after just 20 seconds, which makes it feel anxious and impatient. The tension mounts as Mega Man nears the fortress's inner sanctum and sees what Wily's been cooking up, Robot Masters mass-produced for a world takeover. The touching end credits of Mega Man 1 see the Azure Annihilator making the long, lonely trip home. The melancholy tune used here will go on to underscore the iconic pre-title cutscene of Mega Man 2, making for a lovely flow game to game. Speaking of Mega Man 2, it's time to talk about Mega Man 3! Our infiltration of Wily's fortress in Mega Man 3 starts outside the compound and sees us enter through the sewers. This stage and the next are both underscored by a curiously light-hearted track, really no different in tone than those in the Robot Master stages. Have Wily's repetitive schemes started to get old for Mega Man? If the music of the opening stages gets us complacent, we're likely surprised by the sudden difficulty spike with the second boss. The Yellow Devil from Mega Man 1 returns with a nasty new wave attack. The heightened boss battle theme used in the fortress levels feels deserved here, as Mega Man will likely leave this encounter beaten blue and blue. With Wily's seriousness now demonstrated, the music for the following stages becomes more severe. While this piece still sounds resolute, the long song-like melody is sorrowful, and the key area is a gloomy minor. The tune is extremely simple, lacking the playful ornamentation and jaunty rhythms of themes previously heard. Things are getting more serious for Mega Man, requiring him to stay focused and sure. In the fourth fortress stage, the same music accompanies a location that appears to be a robot graveyard. The purple color scheme, stone walls, and low ceilings are serving big crypt energy. What's more, the only enemies in this area seem to be assembled from scrap, like robotic Frankenstein's monsters. They even throw bricks of metal debris at Mega Man, as if to taunt, "You too will be scrap before long." We get confirmation that this area is indeed a tomb when we arrive at the requisite teleporter room, in which Mega Man will again face foes who've already died to his buster. Ooh, spooky robot ghosts! Mega Man 3's credits tune is a capital J jam, and one of my favorite tracks in all of Mega Mandom. A little anecdote. Before the days of being able to listen to any game music with a simple web search, I used to play this game to the end just to hear this music. It was easy to bask in it too, as the game never returns you to the title screen, so you can just let it loop and loop and loop. It was always difficult to turn the power off and say goodbye to Mega Man's world and your victory over Dr. Wily. He's always right back at it again when you boot the game up next. Poor Mega Man, he's always stuck in a time loop fighting the same boss, up to the same stuff over and over and over again. It's really kind of existential. I mean, after the year that was 20. Finally, Mega Man 2. It's happening. We're gonna talk about it. Wily Stage 1 is one of the most beloved tracks in all of video game music. It has a unique affect that arises from it being driving, but also melancholy. The melody has an even mix of ascending and descending motion, giving it a leery complexity that's dissonant with the accompanying voices. The groove says go, but the melody says stay alert, be wary. Another way this track stands out is through its textural variety. We hear both legato and detached lines, often at the same time. There's some honest-to-God counterpoint in here, and Tateishi is careful to keep the number of voices in play changing constantly. When you only have 3 pitched voices to work with, the tendency is to have them all active to keep the texture sounding full. Tateishi doesn't fall into this trap, and so we get great little solo moments here and there, in addition to more elaborate polyphony. It's appropriate these opening stages of the fortress have such nuanced music. The game's problem-solving demands of the player increase dramatically here, as these levels are the first to require Mega Man to use his special items. This is when the game goes from challenging to downright NES hard. While Wily Stage 1 is well known, loved, and covered, Wily Stage 2 might be the least appreciated track in all of Mega Man. On the surface it may seem an underwhelming composition, but it's actually rhetorically brilliant. Wily Stage 2 consists of a 4-bar phrase heard 12 times in a row. Each time it repeats, it modulates up a half step. By the time the track loops, we've heard it in all 12 minor keys, and the maddening repetition makes the loop back to the start all the more shocking. It takes a full excruciating minute to climb to that highest key, but only 2 beats to crash back down to where we started. We're busy dodging attacks from Wily's minions while we listen to this music, so we're not counting modulations. It's really easy to lose track of where we are in the music, so it's nearly always a surprise when that grotesque glissando happens. Is this track an illustration of the hardship Mega Man is facing? A reminder that we can be sent right back to the start of the fortress should we fail in these last areas? Hearing the music this way makes this part of the game feel disorienting and oppressive, the endless modulations being a musical metaphor for the spiraling halls deep in this madman's lair. It's quite a contrast from where we started. Remember Woodman, the face log guy? Those were the times. After being hypnotized by this music for 3 full stages, he might be forgiven for falling for Dr. Wily's alien shtick, spoiler alert. Busting up his illusion machine earns us the endgame sequence, which, like Mega Man 1, is accompanied by some understated, soulful tunes. Mega Man looks contemplative here. We can only guess what he's thinking about.
I feel all mushy and tingly inside.
I hope you enjoyed this discussion about the way the dark musical turns at the end of Mega Man games makes completing them memorable, even emotional. It's amazing what these old games were able to accomplish affectually through 8-bit graphics and 5 channels of the simplest sounds achievable through digital means. It's been a while since the last video, but I'm getting back into making these regularly again. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more in the future, consider subscribing. You can follow me on Twitter at ProkoCat to hear some of the music I write. Thanks for watching!